and welcome to the first episode of the Muddy Little Lotus Beginner's Meditation Series. Our guest today is Mish, and she will be teaching us and guiding us through some Kundalini meditation. Welcome, Mish.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how did you get started with Kundalini?
Kundalini meditation and yoga I was already teaching meditation as a meditation teacher, and I started to do some online courses with some speakers that I love that were from the US, and Kundalini Yoga and meditation is quite prevalent over in the US. That's where it was first brought over by Yogi Bhajan to the US, and so it's much more prevalent there than in Australia. And so they would have these speakers that I would listen to online would have a Kundalini Yoga class before they'd go into their teachings, just because it would open people's hearts, help them be more present to what the speaker's message was. So I did it first online, and that was great. That was a great experience. But then I also did it in person because one of the speakers came out to Sydney, and so I went to see him, and my teacher was actually teaching the class before this particular guy spoke. And I had a really amazing experience whilst in the class where we were doing a particular asana or body posture for a long period of time. Sometimes in Kundalini Yoga classes we might do things for long periods of time, and it's really to push up everything that might stop you in life when things get uncomfortable and really hard. So I was doing this particular arm movement or whatever it was, and all of my stuff was coming up. So what the hell am I doing? Why is this taking so long? How long is this going to be? Like, this is really hurting, and why is this yoga teacher telling me to do this? This is crazy. And then and having these kind of feelings arise as well, crying through it, and not really crying out of pain so much as it was moving something in me and having me experience something. And I had this moment during the movements where I was like, I just need to commit to this and go through and see what's on the other side. So I had a moment where I just surrendered to the sensation and surrendered to the uncomfortable sensation in my body, and then I transcended it. So I then experienced this extreme joy and bliss and love come through me, and because of that, I thought, wow, this is so powerful. I really want to learn this and teach this so that it's an extra thing on my tool belt to help others transform. So that was probably like my third class in Kundalini Yoga.
Wow.
And I jumped in and went straight into the teacher training, which was 2 years ago now. So I'm quite a newbie as well to this practice, but it's been so transformative, and I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds good. I'm excited. Now, this is my first experience with anything Kundalini. So I notice we've got a few things happening here. We're wearing white. We're sitting on sheepskin. How do these come into Kundalini? What are the props? What are the rules for a Kundalini practice?
Yeah, sure. So today we're going to do a meditation. So all we need is to be sitting here really in an easy pose, which is cross-legged. With the yoga, you might have a yoga mat as well, so that if you are balancing or doing anything, you can use that. But we do use the sheepskin as well in the yoga. So wearing white is because during Kundalini practice, we are really trying to move a lot of energy through the body, and particularly through the spine, through the chakra system. So I won't go deep into what a chakra system is, otherwise we'll be here all day. So Google that. But we're moving energy through the body, and what wearing white does is it's a reflective color or shade, whereas like black is an absorbatory color or shade. So you probably experience when you sit out in the sun and you're wearing all black, you might get a lot more hot than if you're wearing white. That's because it's absorbing that energy. So with white, we're really reflecting reflecting anything that's not our energy. So we're really working with what's within us, and it's not about protecting us from anyone else, like, oh Marie, I don't want your energy, like I'm going to wear white so that I reflect all of your crap. It's not not about that. I really kind of don't subscribe to the idea of even protecting ourselves from energy vampires or anything. I really feel that we need to look at people, and if they are being horrible or whatever to us, and it feels like we're being drained by them, perhaps look at why they're being like that instead of judging them and trying to protect yourself against them. So wearing white is not about protection at all. It's really just so that you're working with your own stuff through the practice. Then sitting on sheepskins, same deal. The energy from the earth, the earth has a vibration as well, as does everything. You know, our cells at that molecular level, we're vibrating. It's stopping that vibration, that natural material. Also, you might notice that I'm wearing a turban. A lot of Kundalini yogi teachers wear turbans, or they all do, and you can wear something like this whilst you're practicing as well, or just a head wrap. And what that does is the skull has a number of different plates, and it helps hold them together so that when we are working with energy, we're not losing energy and kind of getting lightheaded as we're working and moving it, and we're not getting headaches as well, because it's just holding pressure there. But with all of this stuff, I always say to check in with yourself, try it, and then see what impacts it has for you, rather than just taking my word for it. Really kind of trying to practice yoga or Kundalini yoga in white, seeing how it feels for you. Use a head wrap one time, don't use a head wrap another time, and see the difference. I really think that it's more important what you're experiencing than some rule or regulation. Don't get freaked out or turned off by Kundalini yoga because you have to wear white. You can go in any yoga gear. My students sometimes wear white, some of them do, some of them don't. Sometimes head wraps. It's some have sheepskin, some don't. It's really fine to do what suits you and what works for you and your lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Before we get into the Kundalini meditation, I know you run retreats and you teach locally. Tell people where they can find out more about you and your upcoming events.
Yeah. So I do teach retreats overseas and here, women's circles, meditation courses that also aren't Kundalini based. So I'm always changing my products and services depending on what people are needing at the time. And so you can find all of that on my website, which is meditationwithmish.com. And so that's meditation and then with Mish, mish.com.
And we will have the links and all of the extra relevant bits of information in the description section of the video. So thank you, Mish. I think we are ready for some Kundalini practice.
Yeah, great. Let's jump in. So we're going to do a Kundalini meditation for a calm heart. All Kundalini yoga practices or Kundalini meditation practices are taught exactly the way that Yogi Bhajan taught them. So Yogi Bhajan is the yogi that brought Kundalini yoga to the West, and the way that we're going to teach it, the hand positions, the breath, the length of time, were all taught in this way by Yogi Bhajan. So I have my little book here that tells me exactly how he taught it. I've got my little timer here to make sure that we're on time. And all Kundalini yoga practices as well, we tune in with a mantra into practice, and we tune out of practice with a mantra. So mantras work in the way that they are a vibration that has an impact on the vibration of our cells, as well as our tongue, the way that our tongue moves against the top of our palate, our mouth, also sends signals to the brain in that sensation of it touching it, and it has particular impacts on our body and our mindset. So we're going to be using that mantra, and then we're going to be also using a mudra in the meditation. And a mudra is a hand position. So the one that we're going to be using is Gyan mudra, which is pressing our index finger and our thumb together lightly. And the impact of that, or the effect that it has on our body, is a sense of calm. So that also is like a trigger point that tells our brain to be more calm. So see how you feel as you go through it and whether that does do that for you. But we'll tune in with the mantras at first. So the first mantra we're going to tune in with, and we chant it 3 times, is Om Namo Guru DAYV-AY. And this is for us to connect to our divine teacher within. That will be written underneath this video as well, so that you can read how to pronounce it or how it's written. So we'll chant that 3 times, and you can just tune in as you feel. Once you get the tune, you can chant along with me. And then the second mantra is GURAY NAMEH, JUGAAD NAMEH, GURAY NAMEH, SIREE DAYV-AY. Now that sounds like a big mouthful, so I understand if you can't tune in, just listen to me. Have the intention with this one that it's a heart protection mantra. So really, again, it's not protecting you against any nasties. It's just really having you be in your heart center, in the present moment. So really having that intention as we chant those. So great. Let's tune in, and then I'll explain our body posture for the meditation. So we bring our hands into prayer mudra, which is bringing our palms together, placing a bit of pressure between our palms. We bring our thumb knuckles into our sternum or into our heart center, and we close our eyes here. We inhale deeply and suspend the breath, and then fully exhale, and then we'll inhale to tune in. GURAY NAMEH, JUGAAD NAMEH, GURAY NAMEH, SIREE DAYV-AY. GURAY NAMEH, JUGAAD NAMEH, GURAY NAMEH, SIREE DAYV-AY. GURAY NAMEH, JUGAAD NAMEH, GURAY NAMEH, SIREE DAYV-AY. And inhale deep, suspending the breath. Exhaling, just breathing long and deep here and feeling the effect of those mantras on your being, how you're feeling, just your own experience, really experiencing how they feel for you in your body. So we're going to bring our left hand onto our heart center, and that's going to stabilize us at that heart center, because this is a meditation for a calm heart. And then our right hand is going to come up into Gyan Mudra, so that index finger and thumb touching, and the other fingers are just relaxed but straight up. And we hold our hand beside us like this. It's kind of like a pledge, so pledging this calm heart. It's best if you can sit in easy pose, which is cross-legged. For some people this isn't so easy. So if it doesn't feel easy to you, then sitting in a chair is okay. We just want the spine to be straight, so you don't want to be slouching back in a chair. You want to be really rising out from your sacrum. So easy pose is the best way to sit in it. And even if you do feel a bit of sensation or a bit of pain in your legs, sometimes that's an opportunity to really go into feeling into your body and allowing those uncomfortable sensations rather than resisting them and running from them, which is what we normally do in life, moving away from uncomfortable things all the time rather than going through them. When you start to feel into them, often they pass and change anyway, so you could use that as an opportunity to practice that too. So we're going to be holding onto our heart with our left hand, our right hand in Gyan Mudra, and we're just going to be closing our eyes here. We're going to extend our breath so that we're really breathing in long and deeply, and then holding our breath for as long as we can without strain. And then we exhale and then hold our breath out as long as we can without strain, and then inhaling again. So it's really consciously slowing down the breath, calming the breath. In and holding, and then out and holding totally out for as long as possible. So just begin whenever you're ready. If your mind is busy, that is totally normal. We are human, our mind does that, that's fine. Just notice it, just keep bringing it back to your deep breathing. Gently check into where your focus is. If your mind's being caught up in something, that's fine. Just gently bring it back to deep breathing. So inhaling deeply, holding your breath for as long as possible, exhaling fully and holding your breath out for as long as possible. Going to inhale deeply, suspend the breath briefly, and then exhale powerfully. And once more, inhaling deeply, suspending the breath, and exhaling again powerfully. Once more, inhaling deeply, and then exhaling powerfully. And then gently bringing your hands down to your knees. You can either just rest them there or bring them into Gyan Mudra, and just feeling and observing the impact that that's had on your body, on your being. Just breathing naturally and normally, allowing the flow of breath to flow in and out. So emotionally, this meditation adds clear perception to your relationships with yourself and others. So if you're upset at work or in a personal relationship, you can sit in this meditation for 3 to 15 minutes before deciding how to act, and then act with your full heart. That's what the book says here. So yeah, so you can have that to take into any of those kind of emotionally disrupting situations that you might have, where you just want to feel that sense of calm. So then, as I mentioned earlier, we also tune out with a mantra of Kundalini Yoga practice. So we tune out with a blessing called the Sunshine Song Blessing, and it's may the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. And we sing that twice. We sing that firstly to bless ourselves and fill ourselves up. It's important to fill yourself out before you then send out. And then the second time we send it out into the world. So either you might have a particular person that you have on your mind that you'd love to send this blessing to, or a community, or just the world at large. So we send that out, and then we do 3 long satnams, and satnam means truth is my identity. So it reminds us and brings us into that vibration as we go out into the world, that truth is my identity. So again, we'll bring our hands into prayer mudra, placing the palms together, placing a bit of pressure between our hands, bringing them into our heart center again. We will inhale deeply and suspend the breath. And then fully exhale. Then we'll inhale to tune out. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Over our head, and we send peace to all, and in front of our third eye we send light to all, and then in front of our heart we send love to all. Satnam. Great, so I hope you're feeling really calm in your heart now, and you have a great day. If you want to find any more meditations that I record, you can pop on over to my website or come and see me in person. I'd love that.
Thank you so much, Mish.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And thank you for tuning into the first episode. There are many more to come.